Namaste, hi, hello, welcome to today's session. Let's continue our discussion from the chapter Ruling the Countryside. And today's topic is Indigo on the Land of Riots. That is, second method or second type of indigo cultivation imposed in Indian territory. So, here under the royalty system, the planters were mainly forced the riots to sign or to accept a contract or an agreement. Locally, it was mainly described as satta. Satta. So here, peasants are mainly forced to accept a contract or agreement for growing indigo or for cultivating indigo. At the times, even they got pressurized by the village headman to sign the contract on behalf of riots. On behalf of riots. Here, those who are going to accept uh, an agreement or a contract or sign on contract, they used to get cash advances from the planters the at low rate of interest in order to produce indigo. But the loan which was committed the riots to cultivate indigo on at least 25% of area under his or her holding only. This made the planters to provide the seed and the drill, while the cultivators need to prepare the soil, sow the seeds, and looked after the crop. When the crop was delivered to the planter after the harvest, then new loan was given to Royat and it became cycle for starting all over for the next period or next season to cultivate indigo. Peasants, one who were initially tempted, interested by the loans, soon they got realized themselves that how harsh the system was really. The price they got for the cultivating or cultivation of indigo they produce was very low, and the cycle of loan which they are going to get, it was never ended. Then next topic, it is Blue Rebellion and after. Blue Rebellion, it is one of the important movement which was mainly started by the planters opposing the cultivation of indigo. Here, in the month of March 1859, thousands of riots cultivators from Bengal, they refused to grow or they refused to cultivate indigo. Because of this, the rebellion got spreaded when the riots refused to pay rents to the planters and it made to attack on indigo factories with armed swords, spears, bows, arrows, and others. And even women also turned interested to take part with pots, pans, and other kind of kitchen implements. Those who worked for planters were mainly the group of people, one who is socially boycotted, and the Gomastas. Gomastas are mainly the agents of planters one who is coming to collect rent from the farmers, they are mainly beaten up. Riots now, they never expressed, came forward for taking loans for sowing indigo. Are they not bullied? Bullied means forced to take loans from the planters. Then Latias. Latias are Latias. The Lati wielding strong men, they are mainly maintained by the planters to look after the cultivation of indigo in different regions. In 1859, the indigo riots felt that they had the support of local jamindars and village headmen in their rebellion against the planters refusing the cultivation of indigo. In many villages, the village headmen who had been forced to make uh, to sign a contract or an agreement, they got mobilized the indigo peasants and fought pitched battles. Pitched means continuous, regular, vulgar, verbal uh, uh, scoldings or arguments with the Latias, that is the agents, one who is appointed to look after the indigo cultivators. In other places, even the Jamindars went around villages arguing the riots to resist the planters. Resist means accept the planters. So these Jamindars were unhappy with the increasing power of planters and angry at being forced by the planters to give them land on long leases. Means Jamindars now onwards, they were not given such an opportunity to get benefited for their personal development or improvement. The indigo peasants also imagined that British government would support them in their struggle against the planters, but after 1857 revolt, the British government was particularly worried, tensed about the another possibility of great rebellion in Indian territory. Then the lieutenant governor toured the region in the winter season of 1859, where the riots saw the tour as the sign or symbol of government's sympathy for their fight or plight against the indigo cultivation. When in Barasat is the place or the region, the magistrate Astley Eden, he issued a notice describing or stating that riots would not be compelled to accept indigo contracts. Words went around reaching Queen Victoria had declared that indigo need not be sown. Astley Eden was mainly trying to placate. Placate means convince the peasants, and he was very much interested to control an explosive situation like 1857 revolt, but his action was uh, read as support for the rebellion. As the rebellion got spreaded, the intellects, particularly from Calcutta, they rushed to the Indigo district, where indigo was mainly cultivated. They wrote of the misery of the riots, the tyranny of the planters, and the horrors of the indigo system to the other people, to the other reasons or the places. This made worried by the rebellion. Government brought and set up Indigo Commission to inquire into the system of indigo production in India. The commission was mainly held the planters guilty and criticized them for the corrosive methods they used with indigo cultivators. Then the commission declared that indigo production was not profitable for riots or peasants, one who is forced to cultivate indigo. The commission mainly asked the riots to fulfill their existing contracts but also told them that they could refuse to produce indigo in future. Then after the revolt, indigo production from Bengal, it was mainly collapsed, but the planters now they shifted their operation from Bengal to Bihar. With the discovery of synthetic dyes in the late 19th century, their business was severely affected, but they managed to expand indigo production. When Mahatma Gandhiji, the leader of freedom movement or national freedom struggle in India, he returned from South Africa. A peasants from Bihar persuaded, invited him to visit Champaran and see the plight of the indigo cultivators in Champaran. Mahatma Gandhi's visit in 1917, it was mainly marked as the beginning of Champaran movement against the indigo planters in Bihar state. So with this we completed the chapter. Then now let me discuss about an exercise activity for the same chapter. Question number 1. Match the following. Here two columns are given, column A, column B. So Roit village, Mahal peasant, Niz cultivation or Roit's land, Roiti cultivation and planters own land. So the answers in column B, they are interchanged, shuffled. So we have to make proper answer for column A. So the proper answer is Roit peasant, Mahal village, Niz cultivation on planters own land, Roiti cultivation on Roit's land. Question number 2, fill in the blanks. So here question A, B, C, D. So answer to the questions are mainly given in bold. So here space is not given. In the place of blank, answer is typed and it was marked in bold. So here question A, growers of wood in Europe saw indigo as a crop which would provide competition to their earnings. So indigo is answer for A. Question number B, the demand for indigo increased in the late 18th century Britain because of, the answer is the expansion of cotton production. Question C, The international demand for indigo was affected by the discovery of, answer is, synthetic dyes. D. The Champaran movement was against indigo planters. Question number 3. Describe the main features of the permanent settlement system. The answer is, in order to get a stable revenue income, most of the East India Company's officials believed that investment in land had to be encouraged and agriculture had to be improved. This led to introduction of permanent settlement in 1793. By the terms of settlement, the Rajas and Talukdars were recognized as Jamindars. They were asked to collect rent from the peasants and pay revenue to the company. The amount to be paid was fixed permanently. It was felt that this would ensure a regular flow of revenue into the company's coffers and at the same time encourages the Jamindars to invest is improving the land. If the Jamindars failed to pay the revenue, which they usually did as the fixed revenue was very high, they lost their Jamindari rights. Question number 4. How was the Mahalwari system different from permanent settlement? Or write a difference between permanent settlement system and Mahalwari system. So here, one by one, Mahalwari, permanent, like this, the answer is given. The Mahalwari system devised by Holt Mackenzie came into effect in 1822 in the northwestern provinces of the Bengal Presidency, whereas the permanent settlement system was introduced in 1793 by Lord Cornwallis. It was devised as an alternative to the permanent settlement system. Then it was aimed at ensuring stable revenue for East India Company, whereas Mahalwari system, the village headmen were in charge of collecting revenue. In permanent settlement system, the Rajas and Talukdars were in charge of collecting revenue. Mahalwari system, the revenue amount was not fixed and was to be revised periodically. The estimated revenue of each plot within a village was added up to calculate the revenue that each village or mahal had to pay, whereas in the permanent settlement system, the revenue amount was fixed and was never to be increased in the future. Question number 5. Give two problems which arose with the new Monroe system of fixing revenue. Two problems which arose with the new Monroe system of fixing revenue were: driven by the desire to increase the income from land, revenue officials fixed too high a revenue demand. Peasants were unhappy to pay royalty. Riots flooded the countryside and villages became deserted in many regions. Question number 6. Why were riots reluctant to grow indigo? The riots reluctant to grow indigo because the planters paid a very low price for indigo. The riots was not in a position to even recover his cost. Earning a profit was a far-fetched idea. This meant that Royat was always under debt. The planters insisted that the peasants cultivate indigo on the most fertile parts of their land, but the peasants preferred growing rice on the best soil. As an indigo harvest, the land could not be used for sowing rice. Question number 7. What were the circumstances which led to the eventual collapse of indigo production in Bengal? The riots began to refuse to grow indigo. They were supported by the village headmen and some Jamindars in their fight. The scale of protest was so much that the government had to intervene. The Indigo Commission of set up to inquire into the problems. The commission accepted that faults of planters and allowed the riots to grow whatever they wished. This led to eventual collapse of indigo production in Bengal. So with this, we successfully completed a chapter and also the discussion of exercise activity, and see you tomorrow with discussing next chapter from any of the part. Thank you one and all.